Okay. All right. So for everyone who was here in the audience, you heard it before. It is my pleasure to welcome you to today's event. My name is Sabine Wiesmüller. I'm the Director for Europe of the AI Competence Center at German Entrepreneurship. And with a bit of luck, we will see the slides. Now you can see me. So as said, we're hosting today's events with a lot of partners and co-organizers. And at this moment, I would also like to offer the stage to Maya, which is host from AI Monday. So Maya, please introduce yourself as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we are super happy that we can host this event today. I'm Maya, as you said, and we, together with Andreas from DFKI and Phille, where are you over there, from Berlin Partners, are organizing AI Mondays on a quarterly basis. So every 3 or 4 months, we organize a meetup on AI, always on the topic AI and like a cross topic. Today, we have the honor to do this together with Remarkable Women in AI. And yeah, thank you very much. We're super excited for this evening. Just wanted to say hi and welcome from the AI community as well.
So before we dive into the program, I would also like briefly show you what we do at German Entrepreneurship and the AI Competence Center. And the slides again. So there you can see it. So we focus on 3 main tasks. The first being that we want to empower AI innovators around the globe. So if you have an idea, if you already have your team and you want to scale abroad, we're the ones to talk to. The second part is that we build a global AI ecosystem. So we connect people around the globe, be it from academia, from research, SMEs, startups as well. And we want to build a network just to drive AI globally and show the potential of the technologies surrounding AI. So, and with today, we have an event series. We're already at the 3rd event today. The first 2 sessions were very successful, but virtually, and happened in Silicon Valley in cooperation with Tykes and Thomas, who will enter the stage right after me. And today is the 3rd event of the series, and it's the first one that will happen in hybrid manner and with a workshop. So we really do hope that you will have inspiring exchange with other participants and that you will walk from here with new ideas of how to integrate AI into your company, your organization, and how to also keep in mind that women can also drive AI at least as well as men can do. So thank you. I hope you have a great event. And now over to you, Thomas, from Transatlantic Exchange on AI.
Okay, thank you very much. Here's the spot. There's no egg. You are such a perfect. Okay, right here. Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good morning, whoever is online dialing in from anywhere in the world. This is a hybrid event, so we have physical people here and we have lots of different people. Normally we have 10, 20, up to 57 different countries in the world who are normally dialing into one of our sessions. My name is Thomas Neubert. I am born and raised in Germany, and I moved over to Silicon Valley, California, for a 1-year assignment. And I loved it so much, and that has been 32 years ago. So I am through and through a Silicon Valley kind of an entrepreneurial guy. Spent half of my life in starting companies and spent the other half on the evil side, which is the corporate world. I was a general manager for Deutsche Telekom Innovation in Silicon Valley. And recently, a few weeks ago, I left Intel, where I was the GM for artificial intelligence. And something really strange happened recently. ChatGPT. Overnight, everybody turned into an AI expert. And what happened was 2 years ago, I started, next slide, please. I started the Transatlantic AI Exchange as a hobby, as a side note. And March 1st, I decided to do this full time because the momentum is incredible. Artificial intelligence is just literally everywhere. People just don't know it yet. It's scary, it's opportunistic. The future will be super bright, trust me. So Transatlantic AI Exchange, I started it 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago. And the intention was to build the bridge of experts with the German and help the German ecosystem in AI with the knowledge from Silicon Valley. Mutual beneficial on eye level. It's not one tells the other. It's a give and a take on both sides. So since then, I have partnered with many organizations. Some of them are here tonight. Obviously, Eddie and your team, we have done this series of 4 things together. And I can only encourage all of you, if you're interested in transatlantic business, and if you are interested to learn more about artificial intelligence, please go to my website, Transatlantic AI Exchange, and LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn, like us on LinkedIn, for the following reason. We have done 22 plus events so far. Every month we have a hybrid event, we have a virtual event where I bring top-notch experts from both sides to talk about an AI topic and startups and Mittelstand and such and such. And it's all recorded. If you go on the website, there is now plenty of videos of really cool content that for some people, I think will be incredibly useful to understand a few topics. Recently, we had quantum computing and trustworthy AI. We had how to build a startup and different forms of incubator programs and things. And then my wife challenged me 1.5 years that it's all nice, but man, you need to have more women in your sessions. And I couldn't find them at the beginning. I tried, I failed, I let it go. And then I had a chit chat in Palo Alto with Hetty, and she brought up the same topic. And I was like, damn, we have to do something about it. And this was last October, early October or something. So what happened was I took it serious. And a few weeks later, I had the honor to spend a whole week at Stanford University for an executive leadership training. And one of the professors, or 2 professors, they are doing research at Stanford about diversity. So I grabbed the professor, I convinced her name is Caroline, to team up with Hedy and myself. And we came up with 2 sessions. We already had it. They were virtual. They didn't include any workshops. And this is now the 3rd session, and there is 1 more to come. So that's how this all got kicked off and started. So next slide, please. I'm not going too much more into the details, but I just want to point out, again, go to the website, look at the speakers, look at the events, look at the recordings. I believe you will find some content that is really appealing to you. Having said that, we, for the next couple of months, are booked on a monthly basis with other events. The next one is on June 8th. It's a virtual event. It's about Web3 and AI in general. And then we have a few more others. The ones that I like to point out is that I'm taking my European AI Summit, which is kind of a unique thing. I did one here in this room actually last October, my first hybrid event, the German AI Startup Conference. And then I did one in London and one in Munich, also with German Entrepreneurship together. And this one I'm doing the European AI Summit together with a digital demo day, which is a pretty big conference on August 17th in Düsseldorf. The reason why I'm bringing that up, I'm always looking for good speakers and speakers who have a certain cool topic that we should build a session around for free so that people can, listen to it. If you have a topic that's close to your heart, topic that you believe is worth of interest, let me know. We put you into the program. I'm also looking for expert on sustainability and AI. If you have somebody, let me know, because I'm looking for a few speakers for the August conference in Düsseldorf. With that, I think I'm pretty much done. Everything else I will leave alone. Here we come, the moderators. Now I forgot actually my phone because I didn't want to mess it up. My apology. I would like to introduce, and now I forgot the whole title because I had it on my mobile phone, but I want to introduce a friend, an incredible woman, very detailed oriented, may I say. The woman who ignited this whole idea to put the series together, the one who is actually with the vision behind the event today with the workshops. I leave the title alone. I don't want to mess it up. I think it's managing something in Palo Alto. Eddie, please come over here. And with that, I will disappear and I will hand it over to you. Okay, thank you very much. And have fun and enjoy.
Thank you, Thomas.
No problem. Good evening, good morning, everyone. A warm welcome also from my side. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you all here. We've been working hard along with all the event partners for so long on this, and it's exciting that it's finally here. So first and foremost, thank you all for joining. And with that, I would love to ask our esteemed panelists to come online. I see our online panelists who have already joined. So Anna and Nicole, please join me on stage. And we're going to take the next 30 minutes. We'll see how we do with time to really dive into some of the details around rising to AI leadership. We have an impressive group of AI women leaders who are here and who have kindly agreed to share their stories with us. And I'm very much looking forward to learning a whole lot from this discussion. Please, if you have questions as we go through the panel, please keep them in mind. For the online attendees, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. And Thomas will be monitoring the questions. And if time allows at the end, we would love to take a question or two, both online and from the audience. So with that said, this is an incredible honor to welcome the panelists here. I will not take too much time to hear, and I would like to very quickly turn it over to our panelists to introduce themselves. And Anna and Nicole, if you guys don't mind, please share a mic, and we'll move over to our online panelists shortly after that with Patty and Shilpa. So we'll start here, and this is for all of you all. So welcome, ladies, and you are all very impressive leaders in AI, women leaders in AI, and would love to hear about your journey. So please introduce yourselves, share with us how you've gotten here, and you know, how being a woman has affected your journey so far. And we'll start with the on-site panelists and then move to the virtual panelists. So Anna, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hedy, and good evening, everyone, or good morning, or whatever time you are just having. And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so thankful to Hedy that she made this happen tonight and all the other events in the row. And it was that we met in California at the German Accelerator, where we were talking about women in AI, and thought maybe that might be an idea to bring us together. And now we are here, and wow, how impressive, so many women here and on the panel, and I'm just very happy to be part of it. So I'm just a politician in the round, not an AI expert from the technical side, but I'm following all the developments around AI now for a while already. I've been a member of parliament since 2017 now, and in the last election period, we had a special commission on AI in the parliament. It's called Enquete-Kommission in Germany. So we had 2 years in parliament where we really were talking only about AI in this commission together with experts. So that is a very special thing in the German parliament. And there we had more or less all the discussions that we are having now again. Okay, sorry, I just switched it off. So that was my way to AI with this commission. And then I had another starting point in the last election period, which was that me and others were realizing, okay, but we have only men in this whole community around AI. And together with here, Iris Plöger from the BDI, from the industry, here in Germany, we thought, okay, we need to change this. And so we founded She Transforms IT, which is a group of women from different sectors, politics, but also, of course, economy, science, research, and civil society. And we are trying now to bring all the women together, to bring them to light and to have events like tonight so we can participate as women in the whole development of AI, because I think it's very necessary. We need women to be innovative, and we need women to have a fair development of AI. And I think these are two very important reasons. And I'm very happy and thankful that I can be part of this community.
Thank you so much, Anna. And I should say a great shout out to She Transforms IT. Alex specifically has been, I don't know where she is, but she's been instrumental in helping us create this event. So thank you for your support there. So Nicole, please, would love to hear your journey here.
Thank you so much for having the event, and also thank you very much for coming here. I'm Nicole, and this is basically also the space of that Merantix also co-created. I'm a founder here in the venture studio of Merantix, also part of the. So I've basically subscribed my life to the mission of getting AI into implementation. We do this in different formats. Merantix is a venture studio, basically building AI and data-driven businesses with a small fund. We have Merantix Momentum, which I founded, which is basically helping existing industry partners on their journey to implement AI. And then this is the beautiful campus where we're building an ecosystem. And I'm so happy this is exactly what we didn't dream of to happen, that all the ecosystem partners, Maya is a very active member of the community, Philip, right, and basically always hosting events. So that's really great. And the GovTech campus is also up here. So we're really bringing together different people. And I cannot stress the importance of politics maybe too much, especially these days when we're talking about regulation. I think it's really good that we are in close communication and talking about what the technology is, what it means, where it will go, what are we afraid of as a society, what do we need to regulate, etc. I think, so I'm an economist. I did not start out knowing that I would be an entrepreneur, did not do lemonade stands at age 6. And also I did not know I would end up in tech. So I was very much more mission driven. So I basically started about 9 years ago in the sector, and from a game theoretic and auction theoretic application field, basically segued into tech. And I also needed this layer of application to kind of understand, why is tech cool, and why do I kind of want to work with engineers, and what can it actually do? And I also didn't know any AI. I took some Coursera courses. I cannot code really well now until today. But I just want to say, I think if you're curious about it, I would totally encourage it. And also, it's such a fast moving field. I mean, now we have prompt engineers. We didn't even know they existed 6 months ago, right? So I think it's never too late to join. And if you're truly interested, I would also heavily encourage people from other domains, because I also feel AI is only as valuable as the domain you can connect to it, where it can have an impact. So yeah, maybe a little bit long, but also 2-3 stations. And I think now.
Thank you, Nicole, for that. To highlight what you just said, you know, we've put this series together to consider the gender diversity, but diversity goes beyond gender as well. So to resonate, sort of echo what you just said, it's not just about gender, but it's also about specialization and expertise, and bringing in, you know, social scientists into AI is just as important as having the gender diversity, in my opinion, as well. So thank you for highlighting that. So now moving on to our online attendees and panelists. So Patty, please, if you don't mind, introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, Heidi. Hi, everybody. Really happy to be here, and thank you for involving me in this very meaningful event. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be there in Berlin with you guys, but I'm in Canada right now, but very happy to be able to do this still. So I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Orbit Health, and a little bit about what we do. How do we actually leverage AI? We have leveraging the AI technology, machine learning, as well as sensor technology. We develop solutions that help Parkinson's patients. So what we have is actually a digital solution that uses sensors, like a wristband sensors like this one, or a Garmin watch, or any sensors that you can wear on the wrist that collect accelerometer and gyroscope data, And we take that using our AI model to turn that into Parkinson's disease specific treatment response and motor states insights, continuous and objective insights, so that we can really titrate and personalize treatments for Parkinson's patients. Because Parkinson's patients actually need quite regular treatment titration to make sure that they don't overdose, underdose, or move into these motor fluctuations, which is very difficult and devastating, impeding their daily living activities. So leveraging AI, we're able to provide these missing insights so that we can enable personalization of treatments for these patients so that they can lead a better life, increase their quality of life. My background is science. I'm also not a coder. Wasn't really I'm not a data science scientist, but my background is human biology. Started in Canada and then always worked in the industry, was in marketing and communications for pharmaceutical companies, which then I actually, after having a few years working on sales and marketing materials for pharmaceuticals, I got my MBA, which allowed me to actually give me the opportunity to work very internationally, to different parts of the world. So started end of 2003, I basically moved out of Canada and started off in China. Worked for Roche for quite some time, over 10 years, starting in the pharmaceutical industries and then moving into diagnostics, which actually exposed me into the technology side, the medtech side. And it was really in 2018 that is my first encounters with AI. I started also back in 2015, decided to start my own company, become an entrepreneur. And that allowed me to actually start doing consulting for different companies. And one of the projects that I was consulting for was actually a blockchain protocol, Ocean Protocol, that is built to liberate data for liberating data exchange for AI development. And that's really the first encounters of AI technology or understanding this field back in 2018, which I also met my co-founder, which then we were already looking into the solutions for Parkinson's. So Orbit Health was incorporated in 2021, and now we're launching our solutions for Parkinson's patients. And it's really fascinating to see how AI can really help patients and how we can contribute to the healthcare environment. So that's really a short snippet of my journey so far.
Thank you, Patty. It's great to have you on the panel, and clearly what you're working on is an application of AI that is having immediate impact for patients with Parkinson's disease. So thank you for that. And of course, last but not least, Shilpa, would love to learn more about you.
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you all virtually, and especially with this really esteemed panel of women here. And I'm Shilpa. I head the AI Nations Initiative here at NVIDIA, and it's part of our global public sector team. And I'm responsible for driving NVIDIA's public sector portfolio. So we help governments to advance their objectives by harnessing the power of AI. So just like there's smart cities, there's smart nations, and now we are taking it a step further, and that's what AI Nations is all about. I truly believe, what a great time to be in tech, right? Especially in AI, because just as we heard right now with public health and all the fascinating transformation that's happening at the speed of light, that to the pace of change, we are all seeing that we have a chance of being part of this revolution, right? We are all actually designers of the future. We're all using generative AI pretty much every day. And so that's my journey basically has been, when I was growing up, the only constant in life was change for me. And that's because my dad was in the Air Force. So we had to pack up every 2 to 3 years, move to a new place, adjust to new school and friends. And that's what we are seeing happening in high tech and in AI, especially right now, right? Change is the only constant. And growing up, again, my dad was my role model. He was quite the tinkerer, opening up all things electronics in the house. And that's how I got curious and interested in engineering and how stuff works. And I liked math, I liked engineering. So I did end up taking computer engineering for my undergrad. So I was a developer actually. And so that was my first job in software development in the edge routing and networking space. And then from there, I moved into solutions engineering, and which is where I really found customer engagements and simplifying the customer journey was something I really enjoyed. So that's how I decided to then take on an MBA. I did my MBA part-time and then switched over into business development, and then got into the IoT, Internet of Things business unit, still at Cisco. But then IoT evolved into AIoT, right? Artificial intelligence of things, right? There was, if you remember when this smart cities initiatives first started, it was primarily about connectivity. It was about connecting these tens of billions of devices and making a connected public infrastructure and city operations and whatnot. And now you add on billions of human beings with cell phones and internet producing data, rise of social media. And so we've taken this to another level where it's about converting that data, like we saw with what Patty talked about with medical devices and all the data that's been produced into an intelligent platform, right? And that is where that power lies, in making that data-driven informed decisions between governments, between people, between processes. And that's what defines smart nations, which is where we've started to see the AI and deep learning is becoming transformational and mainstream. And I joined NVIDIA about 5 years ago, still focused on public sector. But from smart cities, I'm now working on AI nations, smart nations. And it is primarily around strengthening the nation's economic growth, the domestic capabilities, the national priorities, many of which are focused on public health, on sustainability, on climate resilience. But yeah, always sought mentors and role models and opportunities like these where I get to learn so much. So many times this mentor-mentee relationship is kind of informal, right? Hearing different perspectives and experiences from men and women. And yeah, very honored to be here.
Thank you, Shilpa, and welcome. Thank you for sharing that. So our panelists come from very different backgrounds, very different sectors, and we're excited to have the diversity of thoughts and experience on the panel. So we'll actually ask different questions of the panels just for this next round, and then we'll go back to a common question. So I'll start out with Anna again. So Anna, you probably know this, but only about 18% of C-level executives in all AI companies are women. And given your work in policy, what do you think are some of the policies and initiatives that can really help support and close this gender gap? And what can we do to ensure that they're implemented in a way that can actually be helpful?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And it's a hard question, I'd say, because it's really not easy to find a solution to have more women in the sector just like this. And that was one of the reasons why we started She Transforms IT, because we thought we need all the sectors together. We need politics, we need the companies, we need research, we need everybody to come together to solve this problem. And I think on the political side, we have one chance in education. And in Germany, it's really, for example, that in IT doesn't really happen in school at all. And if it happens, then it's mostly not on a mandatory basis, but just who would like to do the workshop or the project can come, and surprise, surprise, it's the boys that come to these projects, and girls can often be just in school without ever having any class in informatic or something else. So that is one very important part, I think, and we just had today around with in Germany some of the actors who are relevant to get in IT into the schools really for everyone, so that everyone participates and everyone learns it. And then the women realize and the girls realize they can do it. And it's interesting And it's not that it's just something that's interesting for boys. And because we often have the problem that just girls or young women, they just think they can't do it. And they just think there is a hurdle to be part of the community because everyone else is not a girl, but a boy. And so education is one very important part. And I think it's important that everyone in school gets in touch with tech and with IT and with AI, and it just has to happen for everyone. And then we can see that also more young girls go in universities in these kind of sectors, and that is also very important because we are also stuck there. We have also only 17% girls in IT studies. So that is also a problem, and we have to bring them more than in. And then maybe a second aspect is what we are doing also at the Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, where I am the Commissioner for Digital Economy in this election period, is that we look at the programs that are relevant for startups, that are relevant for founding your own company. We have, for example, a program that's called Exist. And it's a stipend to start your own company, more or less right after university. And we have also only 20% women there. So now we start a new program. It's called Exist Women, where we really want to get the girls and the young women who think they might be interested in founding a company, but maybe they don't have the support, they don't know enough about it, and they don't immediately meet people that are encouraging them. So we're going to have a program that's specifically for women. And I think that's important that you have some programs, or like in school, that where just everyone participates and then you get the girls in. But you also need some programs that really are only for women in times where it's so divided and you are just a single woman in a room full of men. It's just more difficult. So I think you need the combination of both programs that are for all, but also some programs that are only for women. And maybe coming lastly to this question of startups, because they are very important in the development of AI right now. Merantix as a companies that are evolving right now. And there it's also important to get more women on the founders side, is to get more women on the investor side, because we also know men are financing men. And so that's also a program we have to try to support women on the investor side. We have a program that's called Emerging Manager, where we really support women that want to start a known investment fund or something like this, that we go also a more diverse we see scene in Europe and hopefully globally. So I think these are different points you can do, and it's none of them is something you can do just today and tomorrow everything will have changed. That is why it is so important to have all this community around and to have all the events and to like have all of us involved in doing something in the community where we are. And I think that is really the important point, and that's why also today is so important to get more women in the sector.
Thank you, Anna. There's definitely no silver bullet in this. It's a long game, and we are taking steps towards it. But the point is to have it be moving in the right direction. So jumping off of what you said about startups and investors, of course, I want to turn to Nicole now. Nicole, you see in your work, you come across a lot of different AI technologies that are being put together and developed by women and men. And my question to you is, do you see the policies that Anna just talked about being able to keep up with the fast pace that AI is moving, especially in the last few months? Of course, AI is developing too quickly to the point that people deep in AI are still having a hard time, including myself, keeping up with all the changes and the new additions. So how can policies, keep up with this? And do you think they do? And if not, what recommendations do you have from your perspective as an investor?
Okay, this is very tricky, right? But I would say, in general, when you look at the pace of innovation and you look at the pace of policymaking, we see a gap. And some of that is also intentional, right? Because policymaker can also not jump on everything all the time at once. But I think it is very hard, and it's not only in the tech sector, it's also true in other sectors where advances are fast, that just systemically it's difficult to stay on top. And it's due to different reasons. One is just processes, the other is talent. Some of these trends are also super international, right? It's not everything is in your backyard that you're kind of looking at. So that just like this. I think many of the things that you mentioned, Anna, are very, very valuable and very valid. I'm always like a little bit hurt personally when I hear like we need these special women classes, right? Because I think I went to the same universities, I got the same grades, I have the same skills, and then somebody tells me, yeah, but you're going to be put in an extra class, you have to learn again. Something in me doesn't like this, but I agree that, and we're hosting, for example, also a women's breakfast here on campus, and I've also learned through my own professional career that yes, it does help to have women because it's not yet solved. So we need to create these spaces. So I'm very much, I had to learn this. You probably knew this much, much earlier than me. And I think the second thing is, yeah, we don't also have to get all the women only to STEM and into coding to get them into AI. I was thinking about this because my daughter, she's 2 now. And then I was thinking, oh, how can I, how can I solve this for my daughter? I haven't gotten the silver bullet answer either, and I was talking to my husband because he has this game now, PlayStation at home. I thought, no screens. No, my daughter is not going to see a screen like anytime soon. And then he sent me this study. They asked students at Carnegie Mellon what got them into software developers, what got them into IT gaming. Like a vast majority of. And then I was like, okay, you're going to teach her everything. We need to get a new one. It has to be better, but she has to kick ass, right? So just some of the interests, right? It's interesting how these natural interests or inclinations can kind of pave your career path. And I think one of my takeaways is, okay, like if she wants to go into coding, maybe this will increase it. But I think the recent development, and Thomas, you were talking about ChatGPT, shows in my world, at least, we've moved away from sort of the completely model-centric world where we're building models and algorithms, where we need a lot of coding, of course, to then a data-centric world where we have to understand the data. We need to attribute meaning to the data. We need to curate it. So there are a lot of experts that are not necessarily coding who are doing this. And then ChatGPT, I think, is bringing like more interaction, right? So we're going more towards a world where you want to involve, it's great. You can just use language, but in many work processes, you want to involve experts, etc., in an interactive manner. Like how does as a doctor use this tool? How does a truck driver use this tool? How does a lawyer use these tools? And so we have to think much more about how are we interacting with these tools? What is it doing to us? So I think there are also other disciplines that will be involved. But yeah, I mean, we need more women kind of investing, and we need in it to push female topics. And we also need to demand this, that we see who is making this technology and make that an inclusive and diverse group, because it's so scalable. It's kind of scary if a very homogeneous group does this. And I mean, we're talking here from a European perspective, right? So if we kind of scale this diversity to a more global scale, it's even more dramatic, unfortunately.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to add on one thing you said, because I think it's really important. It's not any extra learnings that women have to do in any extra classes, but it's just that we need an like system around them, or the opportunity to see that they are already good in it, as good as the man, because we see there are surveys, and young women, when they get out of school, they assume that they are not as good as boys in the same age when it comes to starting maybe at the university, going into tech or something else. They just assume they are not as good. And that is where we need like sometimes the extra tip to show, of course you can do it and we need you, and so please go. And that's why I think sometimes it's helpful to say it's exists women, because then women know, oh, that's for me, I should do this maybe, and have not this like self-excluding idea that yeah, I don't like that it's like this, but it's often like this. And I totally agree for the gaming part. Because my daughter is totally in Minecraft right now, and she's doing a summer course now in mods coding, modifications for Minecraft. It's I don't know, and I think that's the right way, because that's to get in touch with everything that's around it. And what is important is gaming with a real laptop and not only on mobile phones, because then you learn something around it. So go everywhere and tell girls they should go to have some hobbies with gaming and everything like this.
That's good advice. I want to double click on something that Anna touched on in terms of the internal biases that women potentially also have, and that brings me to Shilpa. So Shilpa, you have been in the corporate world for a while, and I would love to sort of get your thoughts on what can companies do to address any unconscious or even internal biases that may be there, or stereotypes that are making it harder for women to advance to AI leadership.
Yep. And I want to say that, Anna, your daughter and my son should exchange notes, because I have a gamer here as well. But he says that he learned economics and business through his Minecraft activities. So he claims that he's learning a lot. But anyway, yes, I do think that creating an environment which promotes all of this and encourages women to learn and to grow is very important. So congratulations on creating those kinds of initiatives. The bias question, I mean, I think the most important thing is really around educating everybody, including ourselves, that unconscious biases do exist, and making people aware of the fact that everyone has unconscious biases, but they will have a negative impact on the underrepresented, the women in tech. At NVIDIA, stating from example, we have a great amount of diversity and inclusive workspace, but that's because we've really been paying attention to hiring and creating a culture where everybody feels valued, is encouraged to speak. And for some people who are not comfortable speaking or something, this, a lot of emphasis even on writing your thoughts out. So there's not enough time in a day for meetings and all the work that we have to finish, right? So we kind of have this writing culture. We have to write our top 5 things that we are working on and communicating those on emails, communicating the important things. It's encouraged across the board. And the other thing I would say is, for women, NVIDIA has a lot of huge presence in research labs around the world. And hence, the importance of being involved, not just within the company, but also across the broader scientific community, across, reviewing papers, publishing papers, all of that is encouraged very heavily, and encouraging women to participate outside of the company within all of these AI communities. That's an important aspect as well, I would highlight, to broaden women's horizons and their contributions.
Thank you for sharing that. Very, very important, very important aspect. So I know we're running short on time, so probably I know we're just getting started, but I hate that we don't have more time, but I do want to ask Patty a question. Patty, you are the founder and an entrepreneur of an AI startup. You have the odds stacked up against you as a woman founder and as a woman in AI. Can you share with us what are some of the challenges, the biggest challenges that are facing women entrepreneurs, especially in the field of AI? And what ideas do you have for how that can be addressed?
Yeah, I think Anna mentioned something that is really important, which is belief. And I do see that, when a lot of when I was talking to VCs, or because most like Nicole and Anna said, VC is still an area that is quite male dominated. They do have a preconception of what an entrepreneur or a business person should be or should act like. And oftentimes that is not the first impression that a woman entrepreneur gives off. And then also, sometimes they ask questions that are very different. I read somewhere, and I actually reflected on that as well when I was speaking to a lot of venture capitalists. They tend to ask more questions to women, like how are you gonna prevent certain pitfall from happening, or what some more preventative questions, rather than questions more proactive in terms of like, what is your vision? Where do you see this company, your product going, in the next few, what is your market? How are you going to expand, So the reactive versus proactive nature of the questions that you get from a lot of people outside your domain can be different just because you're a woman. But one thing I do notice is I never see myself as a woman entrepreneur or a founder. I see myself as a founder. But I have very different perspectives because I'm a woman, and I also have worked in many, many different countries, giving me that different perspectives of culture and how the healthcare system works in different parts of the world. And that perspective is very important. And I think that's what people bring, that's where that diversity comes in. But then when you are being asked, or when I'm being asked questions that are a little bit limiting, it is in my control to actually turn that conversation around. And this is where belief comes in. One of the factors I did see is oftentimes, women tends to want to tick all the boxes before they advance, because they want to make sure they have all the skill set in their skill box in their toolbox before they advance into something new. Whereas men could, and this is very generalized right now, even if they only tick half of the boxes, they would go, yeah, I'll go for it. And I think this is something that we can be more brave as a woman, as women. We can just say, look, I can definitely learn, as I take on this new opportunity, and get out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid, believe in yourself. And that's what really can advance you and can really grow you. And it's the same in AI, the diversity, the unknown, venture into that, and don't be afraid, and really believe in yourself, and articulate the potential. And I think that's something that women can do a lot better, and to help each other do a lot better. One thing that I always ask is, even when I'm interviewing women, am I asking questions that are questions that, because if a woman sitting opposite to me, if there's a man sitting opposite to me, will I be asking the same question? And I think that's something that both men and women can reflect on when we interact with the different genders. And from a founder perspective, like I said, it's really about belief, and it's really about taking on opportunities, venturing into zones that you're not comfortable with, and then growing it and letting people believe that you can do it. Because without that, regardless of whether you're a woman or you're men, it's very difficult to proceed or succeed.
Thank you, Patty. I love what you said about believing in yourself, and I also love the fact that you highlighted that there are biases. Women also have biases. It's not just men. We all have it. We're evolutionarily developed to do pattern recognition, and so it makes sense. Again, I hate to have to cut the conversation short. I know we're just getting started, but we also have a full and packed schedule for the rest of the discussion here. So with that, I want to thank our panelists for spending the time, for being here with us. So thank you all. Thank you for dialing in. And I want to encourage the attendees here in person to please ask your questions to the panelists afterwards during the networking. And with that, I want to turn it over to our next speaker, Sarah Needham, to walk us through a workshop specifically aimed at talking about the power of diversity in AI leadership. So with that, I thank you. I thank the panelists, and I want to welcome Sarah to the stage.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. So it's nice to see you all here, and I think we can go on to, sorry, am I not close enough? Okay, we'll go on to the first slide. I want to welcome you to having a chat around the power of diversity in AI leadership. Now, before we start, and we've not done this so far this evening, I'm going to ask you each to just take a second and set an intention. Whether you're online, you're joining us, or whether you're here, what is it you want to get out of this session? So as I talk, I'm going to give you an impulse, and then we're going to break out. We're going to do some activities. We actually want to take action. We've had a lot of great comments. You're going to hear a bit of an impulse from me, but actually this is about creating something, making a change, co-creating what the future can be, because we are creating the future. Each and every one of us right now. So what we want to do today, so I'm going to have to keep the microphone up, I apologize. I wanted to start us off with a poem from ChatGPT. I thought I'd ask it a question. What is the power of diversity in AI leadership? And actually what I got back wasn't great. And I was like, yeah, this is one of the things we know is a limitation. But actually, the thing that ChatGPT has done for us, as we've heard already, is actually it's raised the profile of actually what AI is, what the possibility is. And I think we're awakening the consciousness in the world of actually what's the potential here. We're getting a lot more interest from people in what tech actually can do. And that's an amazing place to be, because there are so many limitations of what we can do and what potentially women can do right now, but it's changing. So my name's Sarah Needham. I'm a executive advisor and leadership coach. But actually I come from engineering. I spent 17 years in Rolls-Royce as an engineer, as a leader. And now I've moved over because I see the potential of what we can achieve when we put inclusive leadership back at the heart of innovative technology. And that's one thing I think that we're missing in most businesses. They're doing an awful lot of really good marketing, but actually when it comes to it, let's look at the numbers. This is where data can really help us. So as you can see, I'm somebody who can actually benefit maybe from some of this technology. I've got an essential tremor. So if you see my hand shaking, that's what it is. So always better when we've got another mic. So I think the basic view of the world that I have is that we're now in a place where we can actually make this change. I think if we can put inclusive leadership back at the heart of innovative technology, then we can together make real change. Not only for us, but for all of the generations to come. And that's what this is about. Creating sustainability. We can't get to sustainability unless we go through equality. They're completely interlinked. So we can't get to sustainable solutions, as it says here, without hearing all the voices, without having difficult conversations. And yet, at the minute, we're shutting out half the voices. So I speak to leaders like you every single day, and I know that people want to make a change. They want to support the next generations to do better than we can all do right now. And it's really important that we stand there and we work together. Because businesses today are struggling to transform. They're struggling to live equality and to breathe the values that they've all written into their businesses. And this is because of leadership. It all comes down to leadership. This presents a massive opportunity for those of you who are building businesses today and those of you who are leaders in business who are willing to make this change, who are going to become more conscious. In the words of the UN Secretary General at the Commission of the Status of Women that he launched earlier this year, he said, as technology races ahead, women and girls are being left behind. And he gave really clear examples in terms of numbers. And he said, when only half of the world are participating, we will never create the solutions that we need to make those changes. So I believe that the businesses that will transform the tech landscape in the next 10 years will put inclusive leadership at the heart of innovative technology, because they'll create a connection. They will build relationships, and they will focus on psychological safety. Because actually, a lot of us now can do the tech. The barriers are coming down, more people are coming into tech. And that makes it really open. But what people can't do is create the environment where diverse teams can thrive. This is the opportunity that we've got. Now, if we don't create diversity, we're missing opportunities. There's actually a word for it called hubris. And it is basically an overconfidence in the abilities of a team. And we see this a lot. We've actually seen it a lot in banking sector and other areas. They become very, very confident, and then something big happens and they fall over. We're seeing it more and more. But what happens with a lot of companies is the other way around. They've got a great name. They can hire who they want. So they bring in diversity. They check the box in all sorts of shapes and sizes. What they can't do, they can't actually enable it because they don't have the inclusive environments ready. They're not willing to listen to all the voices. And this is really important. So you've all got a piece of paper on your chair. You should have a pen as well. We actually made that. For those of you who haven't, please grab one from somewhere. I would like each of you to write down what you define as the power of diversity in AI leadership. Just a short definition. What is it to you? Why is it important? We'll be using this as an input into the workshop. So just take a second. What is the power of diversity in AI leadership? Okay. Now, we've heard all the excuses. We know that people think that diversity feels hard. We know that sometimes people say that diversity feels slow. And actually, as you can see on this slide, what makes it hard is the power of diversity. All humans feel discomfort when things are new, when we're being challenged, when we're potentially confronting things that we haven't been through before. This is the same with technology as it is for diversity. And actually, if we're scared of that discomfort, we're also scared of innovation. And if we know anything right now is that we need to innovate to make the world a better place. If we're worried about it being slow, well, that just means we've not put the structures in place so that we can go wide and then focus down on the point, make a decision, move on. Both of these are really important to enable diversity to work, to create the environments where everyone's voices can be heard. The journey always starts with you as an individual. because we all need to raise our level of consciousness. You're seeing that all of the time right now. We're being asked to raise the level of consciousness. And actually, Corona's done some of this work for us. We've seen a massive change during the Corona times at people's levels of consciousness. People actually recognizing, I get a choice, I'm not stuck anymore. Be that, hybrid working, moving away from where you work, having the opportunity to try something new, create new skills. We've heard it already today. There are so many opportunities. We all feel fear. We're human. We need to start getting interested, curious as to actually what happens when we feel fear, how we deal with it, how we can still have these conversations, even though we're in that space. Because that will be the changer. That will be what will enable us. So who here has been othered in their lives? And I'm going to read out a few examples, and I just want you to raise your hands. Perhaps you've been the only woman in the room. Perhaps you've been wondering why no one else is talking about the elephant that is very clearly in the room, but no one's talking about it. Yeah, okay. Or the only one who's not conforming to the norms, and specifically women, for settling down, having kids, getting a good job, etc., etc. So perhaps you're the only one who doesn't speak the language fluently. I know I've been there, working in Germany for so long. I can see Alex in the back smiling at me. But I see you. You're the ones that hold the power. You've been there. You understand what it means to create a space for other people, create space for their voices to be heard, create space that you're not assuming what their answer is going to be, what their ideas are. That's the space that we all need to create, because that as leaders enables us to unlock the limitless potential of our employees, of other humans around us. Now, here you see one of the models that I always use when I'm working with either startups or corporate. It actually doesn't matter. It's always the same. Inclusive leadership always starts with us. Unfortunately, what a lot of people have done, and especially in the corporate world, they've locked off this awareness of the self-leadership part, because we feel like it's not wanted. I know as I work my way up through Rolls-Royce, that I felt like I almost became more timid because, well, is that expected of me? What's wanted of me? How do we take this? You always get trained as you go up. And actually, we need to break that. We need to really stand strong in who we are. We need to be able to connect with other people, to other contexts, the context of our business, because only then can we really contribute and maximize our potential and the potential of others. So all of these are really necessary for us to be able to create the environments where diverse teams can thrive. Now, the 3 steps that I've got for you this evening to empower diversity in leadership teams for your business. The first one is, as we did at the start, set an intention, focus your brain. Why is this important? For your business, it could be anything. It could be because it makes sense, because we want new business opportunities. And it could be just because it's the right thing to do. The next one is aligned to your business values. Use them. They're there. Most businesses have got great business values. Actually, when you get into the business, you find not many people are actually living them. And this has got to change. We've got to start being very consequent. Use them to make decisions. Why are they important? Why is diversity important for you in your business? Why is that shift urgent? We've got to make it urgent and important, and then integrate it into your business strategy. It's the last bit that I see is not often done. This work's not hard, but actually we try and often create silos for things. And yet silos aren't where we work. We need to integrate this, be it diversity, be it sustainability, into the core of the business, into our business goals, enable people to talk about it and create the atmosphere from there. Now, this is a journey. This isn't a checkbox exercise. And I think the beauty of where we are right now is we're bringing lots of different people together, whether they've got a tech background or not. More and more people are coming into technical roles or AI because the boundaries are going down. So this is a perfect opportunity to do this. Now, I just want to leave you with a couple of things. Firstly, there's a book called Conscious Capitalism. I put some books out over there just in case anyone wants to go and have a look. But Conscious Capitalism is really interesting. They say we'll solve all challenges by raising consciousness, encouraging creativity and innovation. They go on to say, imagine a business that recognizes that whilst our planetary resources are limited, human creativity is unlimited. And if we continually foster the conditions in which people can rise to their extraordinary, almost miraculous potential, imagine what a world we could create. Which goes back to something someone else said earlier. And it always makes me think of the Greatest Showman song. I'm not going to sing for you. 1,000,000 dreams for the world we're going to make. Because we can all live in a world that we design. In fact, you're all redesigning the world right now. You're creating our future reality. So let's challenge one another to raise our level of consciousness and do it better. This is what you can unlock with the true power of technology, enabling humans to really unlock their limitless potential. So are you ready to experience the power of diversity in leadership? We're going to go on and now break out. So for those of you that are joining us virtually, we are going to send you a worksheet, a playbook. Go and take back into your businesses. And we'd love to hear your feedback for this, because take it into your next team meeting, or into your leadership board, or into your founders briefing, and explore it together. Let us know what you come back with, what your learning is and what your actions are. You can tag this event for the organizers and tell us what you're going to do, what change you're going to make to enable the power of diversity in AI leadership. So to those of you joining us virtually, thank you and goodbye.
Sarah, thank you so much for this very interesting keynote and also for introducing us to the workshops. Also, warm thank you to our virtual audience. Thank you so much for having been with us. I just wanted to give you a second to also show where we want to go now with the workshops, and also let everybody know that now after the workshops, please stay with us. We will have catering and snacks and drinks. So we're looking very much forward to networking with you then after the workshops.
Perfect. So those of you in the room, we're going to break out into the room or the numbers that you can see here. You should have all picked up a number as you came in, is that right?
At registry, yes.
Perfect. So you've got a number, the rooms are allocated as per the plan. Please go find your room, get yourself a drink, and then go into the room that you've been allocated. And what we're asking you to do is, in the room, there's a playbook for you to work through. First of all, start with your individuals. You've all written out